I'll call this meeting to order. Mary, read the roll, please.
Showalter, Myers,
Here.
Thompson, Redwood,
Here.
Howard.
Present. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll move on to public hearing for the unfit structure at 1514 College Avenue and Caldwell, sorry. That's almost my house. All right, the hearing for 1514 Caldwell Avenue, and we'll start that at 5:01 and go to 5:03. Signed up for it? Nothing? Jeff?
Well, I gave you guys a kind of a timeline of events, what's been going on since April. Took my first photos. Gone through. I went back up there today. Took some more photos. Nothing's changed. They haven't, went in and done anything. I've tried contacting the owner multiple times to get in with a key. Her husband now is in a nursing home in Colorado. Not doing too well, so she's was looking for a key. Finally found one. Didn't know if it was the right one, and haven't been able to talk to her since. It's probably been 2-3 weeks ago. So anyway, one of the neighbors seen me over there today taking pictures and came over and talked and thanked us for going forward with this. They were over there, they said, a week ago and picked out 2 dead cats and 3 squirrels out of there because of the smell. I don't know if somebody's doing something else around the neighborhood and just throwing them over there, but I can smell some of them too, so. But anyway, the inside, talking to the owner, she hasn't been in there for over 2 years. She's afraid pipes have busted because they just shut utilities off, didn't drain the pipes, didn't do anything. So she's worried about pipes busting, mold, mice, floors deteriorating. So that's kind of where we've left off. Like I said, I haven't talked to her for 2.5-3 weeks. So.
All right. Is there anybody else that would like to speak about that? All right. I guess I'll close this public hearing at 5:03 for 1514 Caldwell Avenue. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Is there anybody signed up for Public comment? Nobody for public comment. And we don't have any presentations or proclamations. So we'll go down to number 5, the consent agenda. I can't read it. I don't have a pair of glasses.
9/6/22 commission meeting minutes.
And B, the
Appropriation ordinances 2022 18, 2022 18A, and 2022 P18.
if I could have a motion on to approve those.
I move to approve the consent agenda items A and B.
I have a motion to approve consent agenda A and B by Commissioner Redland, and I have a second by Commissioner Myers. Any other comments? Mary, read the roll, please.
Yes.
Showalter, Myers,
Yes.
Thompson, Howard.
Yes. Moving on to formal actions. A, wastewater disaster rehabilitation, abrasive blasting, and coating proposals. Neil?
As everybody knows, that the wastewater plant has been down for a couple months so far to do repairs. And while we were down for repairs, we have talked numerous times about some of the upkeep that needs to be contended with out there. So we decided to check in on what sandblasting and painting everything out there that needs to be sandblasted and painted while the plant is empty. Because if we fill the plant back up, there's additional notes on the proposals. It's going to cost us an extra $14,000 to redrain the clarifier if we decide to move forward after in the spring. So that's just an additional cost. We contacted 7 or 8 different companies to try and get bids. We got one just budget bid. We've got 2 solid bids, and then the other 3 did not even reply. So the numbers that we've got, does everybody have the numbers?
Yes.
That's kind of where we're at on having everything sandblasted and recoated. And the coating on there is a very thick, hard coating to comply with the corrosiveness of the wastewater. And we had Rod Butts do a bunch of replacing of some components inside the middle clarifier. That piece of pipe coming down, and then all of the components that hook onto the bottom drags. He has rebuilt all that, and we just don't want to put corrosive materials back in there and have all of his work go to waste, and then we're right back to where we started from and have to go through all this again. But there's, like on the bottom of those boxes, the coating is gone, and I don't remember when the last time that everything was sandblasted and recoated. Joey said that he thought it was probably when Donald was here, so that's been quite some time ago. And for as long as it's been, it don't look bad, but we've got new components down in there right now, and I just don't want to see all that time and effort put into that part of it and have it for nothing. If something would happen and it would corrode and we'd have to have somebody replace it, if we can coat it, it should last for a long time. Well, we figure, 10 years on the coatings?
Yeah, the schedule is supposed to be every 10 years. That's what KDHE recommends on this, or that's what they advised us. And it's been, what is it, close to 20 years or even more
Probably.
since it was done the last time with our plant. And you have to drain it in order to apply the coating and also do the, and you can see how the coating is obviously, even in the areas where it's still halfway there, it's starting to come off throughout all of it. And then if the steel underneath it, corrodes through, that's obviously a much bigger fix if it's not. So this is a big ticket item. I mean, that's why I think 2 meetings ago or 3 meetings ago, I had mentioned we had received a quote to do it and we hesitated, saying, do we really need to do this? And 2, is it now the best time to do it? And then once it was drained and they started doing the repairs on the internal parts within it, it became a little more urgent a priority. The other thing that came about was, since we do have ARPA funds that were provided us of over $600,000, and we had originally started discussing whether to add a belt filter press to the wastewater treatment plant. Through all the things we've worked through on the wastewater treatment plant over the last year, it has become apparent that we do not need to do a belt filter press. So this project then became a little bit more of a possibility to us, saying this might be the right time to do this, even though it was a significant cost, because the initial response we received was right in line with one of the bids that you have before you, which was $131,000. And here they have it at $131,500. That was such a big number, we were just going, we really hesitated, staff really hesitated, because I was like, that's gotta be way too much. But with the other 2 bids received, one said $85,000 to $95,000, but they said it would have to wait till spring, and then they would give no guarantee that price would remain. And in our current environment, I don't know what I have no guarantee on what that price would be. That's hard for me to say that it would stay even close to that amount for the springtime. And then the other bid or quote that we received was $111,000 plus a 5% performance bond, which was in addition to that, but at $111,000. So we have 2 other companies that are leased. It's, it isn't like half of the amount of the $131,000. So we got some confirmation that all these companies are in, still around the low 6-figure amount, which is an awful lot to try to justify. But, and that's what I have the pictures on there as well, as far as it's basically the top third, maybe a little bit more, of the wastewater treatment plant, both inside and outside, that are done. And that's an awful lot of areas that could fail if the coating is not taken care of, and then also the internal, whatever the inside part is called.
Clarifier.
On the internal one. So,
Another
and
reason for trying to do it now is if we wait and do it in the spring, we would have to contact the state again and try and get another bypass order. We've already been on bypass for longer than what they would like us to be, but if we can get everything fixed and move on and not have to do this again, I think in their eyes, we would be a lot better off. And trying to get another bypass order in 6 or 7 months may be impossible, where we've been having trouble with our sampling.
Now, which company can get it done the quickest?
Well, the Mongan, I know that they're just waiting for the okay, and they will send people out soon. The other one, I'm not sure what their time frame of getting here is. I'm thinking that it's fairly quick, but that wasn't part of, he knows that it needs to be done fairly soon, but I don't know if he knows the urgency as of yet. But if he could get out here as soon as possible with the lower bid, either one of them, it's just, it needs to be done in a timely manner. And on the UMC bid, they stated it was gonna be, what, 4.5 weeks? But it was gonna take them 4 weeks
Right, 4
to
weeks to do.
complete the task. Now, if one of these other ones that can start now can get it done before 4.5 weeks, that would be a better time frame, because everything is bypassing from the plant straight to the pond right now. And our pond is gonna be in trouble if we don't move forward.
And you did talk personally with two of the, both the Mangan representative and also the Brand representative, correct?
Correct. Yep. Because we're gonna have to do some aeration for the pond, just to try and break down what we've put out there right now.
That's regarding the current process. That's really not regarding this bid to
Right,
do this
right.
work. They both said within the fall, within the next 1 to 2 months, they would be able to get it complete. So,
State that again. Sorry.
they could, my understanding, and I would have to get confirmation from either one, was that they could be able to complete it within the next 1 to 2 months. If the commission would like staff to go ahead with this, what we're really requesting is to direct staff to
Use the ARPA funds.
use the ARPA fund, but also have a, complete the contract documents for them to do the work. And then according to the city attorney, and get the contract, have this contract signed by the mayor. So this is a proposal, but obviously would need to have a contractual agreement.
It's hard to say which one to go with. As far as, do you have a better feeling one or the other? I know this is $20,000 different.
No, either one would be fine as long as they can get started on the project as soon as possible to complete it to the best of their ability. I don't want anybody hurrying through a project and then having it fail in 5 years. You know, I want the job done and done right. And I think either one would do a great job. And they've both been out here and they have looked at the plant, so they know exactly what they're getting into on the sandblasting and painting. And then the cleanup, I'm sure the cleanup after the sandblasting is,
Do we know what their warranty is on their product?
on the, I don't see the warranty on the paint part. I thought it was on here. I don't see any length on either one of them.
We do say the material lead time is approximately 2 to 4 weeks from the date of order. So, that 1 to 2 months time frame as far as getting the project. Probably be within 2 months time frame as far as the brand Safeway version, which is the third quote for you. Brand Safeway warrants their work for a period of 1 year from the date of application for defective workmanship.
So you're on workmanship, but it doesn't state what the paint warranty is.
Any warrant of material will be that of each manufacturer.
How do we need how do we need to, how does the motion need to read? It's like it's clear, I guess.
I move that, move to approve the proposal from whoever.
Right.
And direct staff to draft an agreement with the manufacturer
Okay.
according to with approval from the city attorney
And for the amount.
for the amount as stated. I'm still not good enough to say it, so you can just say, so moved, so.
Okay. So I move that we approve the brand proposal for $111,000 with a 5% bond, and that giving staff the direction to write up the paperwork for the contract.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Brooke. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
By Commissioner Myers. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Mary?
Myers,
Yes.
Showalter, Redland,
Yes.
Thompson, Howard.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, moving on to formal action number B, ordinance 1757, standard traffic ordinance 2022.
Good evening.
Evening.
Back from my yearly visit. I know you guys too might not know, but every year the city adopts, as most cities in Kansas do, adopts what's called an STO, which is a standard traffic ordinance. And they also adopt a UPOC, which is Uniform Public Offense Code. The STO has traffic ordinances in it. And then the UPOC has criminal ordinances in it. A lot of the ordinances in both have corresponding state statutes, but not all of them. The League of Kansas Municipalities put these books together so that each city did not have to pass a separate ordinance for each traffic violation and go in your basic blue book, so it would be like this. And then we would not have to keep up with the changes and change that every year in the book. The League of Kansas Municipalities does that. So what you were given in the packet is just basic updates that the league did. It came straight out of the League Journal. So usually they're more concise and more fun about it than what I am, so no reason to reinvent the wheel. On the STO, the only changes really that affect us is on the DUI, which the state is just allowing us to suspend fines or waive fines if we want to, but we can't touch their portion of it, which is pretty typical of the state. But otherwise, I mean, it just gives us permission to, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to. So if you've got any questions over the STOs, I'd be happy to answer those.
I don't think that leaked document got put into
in?
the packet, so I apologize for that.
Okay. Did you guys have an opportunity to look at the journal? No?
Pretty minor things.
Okay. Yeah, there's just a few minor things. Some of it's wording. Like I said, mostly it's under the DUI statute and the commercial driver DUI that changes, so. And then, once again, it reiterates that commercial driver licenses, you cannot divert any charge with someone who has a commercial driver's license. It's called masking. The feds don't like that.
Is it mainly for commercial?
No.
No.
Just that particular ordinance
Okay.
relates to commercial driver's license, that we're not allowed to divert them in any manner to try and mask the charge so that it does not go on their driving record.
And if you'd, since we didn't include that document in the agenda packet, and you haven't seen it, you can approve the ordinance tonight, because it is such minor changes. Or if you'd rather see that document, it's not a problem really to delay it till the next meeting. It's not like an urgent thing, will affect the next court date. So that's okay as well. So,
Either one.
I move to approve ordinance 1757.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1757 by Commissioner Myers.
I'll second.
Got a second by Commissioner Redland. Any other discussion? Mary, read the roll.
Redland,
Yes.
Thompson, Myers,
Yes.
Showalter, Howard.
Yes. I'll move to approve ordinance 1758.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Myers. Any other further discussion? No? Mary, read the roll.
Redland,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Showalter, Thompson, Howard.
Yes. Moving on to discussion items. Cemetery Board request on code change regarding cemetery hours and violations. Kent?
this came up as a result of the discussion at the cemetery board last week. They had an incident, and actually had a couple different incidents, but the signage at the entrance into the cemetery follows what the city code says at this point, which is that the hours at the cemetery are from 8 to 5. And there was a request at the cemetery board to change that to sunrise to sunset. The president of the cemetery board is here as well. Dick and Joni Geyer, as far as the caretaker for the cemetery, is here. They had an incident involving at the chapel in the cemetery, and that then also there's been some concerns just because we don't have gates at the entrances to the cemetery anymore, that the 8 to 5 kind of is superfluous, since there really is no restriction to entering the property or not. So, wasn't that the discussion at the cemetery board meeting? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we discussed whether we have a 5 or 8 to 5 time period on open park with not even having any gates up. There's a lot of people going before 8 o'clock and after 5 o'clock to visit their loved ones, or just go out there and walk or whatever they're gonna do, and look for keep the look on what the property is, not his. And so, if we keep it the way it is now, then if there's somebody in there after 5 o'clock in the evening or early morning, we found out from the chief of police that day that they can be charged with trespassing because it's a criminal offense. If we put a daylight going, that will cover all of them people. And we take the signs down that we've got now, but I'm telling you, it says daylight dusk.
Yeah, it's trying to make it more consistent as far as, okay, if it's light out, it's not a problem being in the cemetery. If it's not light, there's consideration at that time. I kind of was talking from the negative part, Dick's talking from the positive part, from people actually visiting the cemetery, and that it not be a problem for those people.
So we could just put up a change the ordinance to daylight only.
Correct.
That's the main thing we need to do is change. If the signs that say five, we take them down and put some like daylight on there, however you want to do it.
Right. So we draw something up to that effect, so we can prove it.
There was one other change requested by the police department and at the current code. And Jason, you may want to speak to that real quick.
Yeah, it says, the current ordinance says, anyone past the hour shall be guilty of criminal trespass. That puts us as law enforcement as we will, by citation, basically. I'd rather change that language to can be, the may, probably the best word for that. May be guilty of criminal trespass, as opposed to, shall.
We actually, made it May.
We need to change the ordinance for that one too.
Yeah.
So,
That would be part of the same ordinance.
right, yeah.
And
Yep.
if we could put some additional signage, really talk about that, I mean, additional signage, bigger sign possibly, for people to see it, but right now signs obviously. Which I think, or can, was really good.
So is that okay from the commission to draft an ordinance and bring it to the next meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, any other discussion on that? All right. Move on to reports. City manager. Kent?
Well, you have your memo in front of you as far, I don't really have any follow-up regarding the sales tax ballot question. I haven't been able to, I did contact the county clerk, and the question is gonna be set for the ballot because of the timing of it. But that's about the only follow-up that I have. I didn't go to the I wasn't able to go to the county commission meeting as yet. The animal pound contract, the county did approve their portion of the increase, up to, when they went to $900 a month, or $10,800 annually on the pound contract, which would leave, we had talked at the joint meeting to increase it from 27 to 36. That would leave 6,300 for us to be responsible for, and we had budgeted 5,500. So that leaves a difference of $800 between what we had budgeted and that amount. So there was some direction given by the commission at last meeting that didn't want to obviously go beyond what we had just approved budget-wise regarding that. But that is the difference that we have at this point. And again, I have not presented that at the county commission meeting as yet, so. Do you have any additional direction for our staff at this point?
No.
No.
Yeah, just to go with what we have.
The airport runway project, I will have to ask Andrew to step to the podium and give a report on that.
Well, we had anticipated hopefully being done last week. Some equipment breakdown on their sealing machine, and then the FAA inspector. So since we're moving those PAPI boxes, I think like Darren and I have talked about in the past, that's FAA-owned equipment. FAA inspector still has to be there on site when the contractor does the work. So he was coming here this week. The hope is they're out there painting right now, that we can at least have it open to visual approaches only here by the end of the week. So As long as they were anticipating getting the painting done tomorrow, all the joints are sealed. The primary contractor, Smoky Hill, will still be around doing some minor things. They still have to take down their concrete plant, but hopes are here by the end of the week that we'll have everything open. So,
So on that change order, have they approved that change order? Is that what that is on moving the Pappies?
yeah, the new equipment.
Okay, that's what all that is.
Well, not what they're doing right now. We had to, yes, I believe the FAA did go ahead verbally.
But they have not sent us anything in writing.
They haven't sent you anything yet?
No.
Okay. I'll have to ask Darren, but I do know that they gave verbal approval so that way they could get the additional equipment ordered. Because we still will have a portion of that happy work to do whenever that equipment does come in, probably in the next year, because there was quite a lead time on it, so. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some rain and seed in the ground, and maybe we'll get some grass popping. We don't know.
Sounds good.
Don't laugh too hard. Knock on wood.
And then since Leanne is here, I just asked her to do a short report to you guys tonight.
Real short. But you guys know there's not a lot I can talk about that's going on with municipal court that I can or would talk about. I can kind of give you some numbers. Last year at this time, we were sitting at 219 cases. We're sitting at 199 this year, so we're about 20 behind. Just looking, comparing numbers, it looks like most of those are crimes against property. It's down this year, and those would be like thefts or criminal damages. We generally don't have, maybe between 20 and 30 of them, and right now we're sitting at 3. So those are down this year, which it's good. I mean, hopefully it's good for us, or they're just doing it bad enough it goes to district court. But those are kind of our numbers for this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Included in your packet is the police monthly activity report as well. And then, not to that part of the agenda, my electronic version. One more thing that we've had is that we've had a request from the Art Center, or as filled out, and we've approved it as far as they're requesting that they will close down their parking lot and the street in front of the Art Center for Flatlanders this weekend. That does cause a little bit of an issue because parts of that parking lot are used for the tenants adjacent, and also a business owner adjacent, but they're having a demonstration with the Art Center during a welding demonstration, correct, Kim?
I think it's a blacksmith.
Blacksmith, that's right. Demonstration, so it's trying to keep the distances regarding that. And the reason I bring it up here is that we've had a little bit of consternation raised due to the closing of the parking lot, but we'll try to have it as minimal hours as possible, both on Friday, for a portion of Friday and for Saturday, so.
And that's been brought up to the people that use it.
And as to some of them, but of course, I don't know if all of them have been contacted, but.
I don't think anybody's been contacted about it yet, as far as business owners and people that use it.
Okay.
So, right now, we kind of were trying to see what your guys' take was on closing it, so.
I mean, don't we normally like close off the side street, like right in front of the, like typically, I mean, on a lot of them.
Yes,
Right.
this year they're requesting all of Main Street to be closed clear from Center to Broadway on off streets, 16th.
Yeah.
Usually it's been right at the half streets, other than like 12th Street was just there, but this year they're requesting everything
Okay.
So, but as far as art center, last year, we had some issues that the tenants and business owners said we couldn't close that place down. They needed, what we ended up doing for them last year was we put art center tenant parking only, which that alleviated, some complaints. But the Tanner being new, he didn't know that, and he was kind of still hoping he could get that parking lot. He said he might have to put his, blacksmith guy in the parking lot for his demonstration, because it might take up more room for the beer garden out front, so.
I don't know. I guess, you know, in my mind, the tenants have a right to, you know, use that parking spot. I don't think that, I understand he needs it for what he's doing. I still say that we do the, you know, the spots reserved for the tenants, for tenants parking and possibly for this businessman as well. That's my take on it. I don't think it's right to state that they need to go park somewhere else if it you know, it's just theirs, because I mean they use it all the time. That's my take on it.
I agree if we put a sign up, like, just like you guys did last year, in regards to, so we alleviate other people not parking there.
Right.
Maybe give that area.
Is it because of like what the blacksmith's going to be doing? Like he doesn't want to like have potential like
Right.
like issues of like, you know, molten metal falling on vehicles or something like that? I don't know.
I'm not sure, I was actually hoping Tanner was going to speak with you guys, but.
Sure. And maybe I'll go to him or someone can go to him.
No, we'll definitely contact them
Let's,
beforehand to get it clarified, but, because we were expecting to be contacted one more time
Yeah.
before this meeting, but that didn't happen. But, yeah, it's trying to make sure that the distance between the exhibition and any other vehicles, there's enough, so nothing else happens.
Sure.
It
And
causes a problem.
I guess, you know, if you relate that to the tenants and just say, hey, like this is going to be happening, you know, he has requested the use of the parking lot, you know, they may move on their own because of that. But that's at their own volition. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, I'd at least ask them if they wouldn't mind moving, but they still have the right to the spot.
And I just don't want it entirely occupied, you know,
Right,
because it
yeah.
is, then the problem comes up, like you mentioned, Ann, as far as we don't want any other members of the public
Right.
expecting to use that at all.
Sure.
So, isn't that correct, Kent?
Yep.
It's probably the biggest issue, so we'll get that resolved.
Right.
Get it clarified. The final thing I wanted to bring up was regarding the water rights. It talked with, Division of Agriculture regarding our water rights because our best producing well is actually well number 11, which, Josh has brought up the map, but I don't know if you can quite see it. It's on the very north edge of that. It doesn't want to show. It's right in that area. And well number 9 is just south of it, and right, pretty close adjacent to the airport terminal building.
It's right by the shooting spot.
Yes,
Gun
Okay.
club.
The gun club. There we go.
That's 11.
and
Yeah.
11's up there and 9's down below.
even in the trees.
If we drove by. Okay.
Where the light is that rotates
Yeah.
right behind it in the street.
Okay.
They should not slow the fire now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this one's 11. This one down here.
It's 9.
There's, and Neil can probably say it quicker than I can, but what 11's our best producing well. And we end up, ending up, being able to use it during the summer months, but we have to shut it down because it produces so well. Then the water right allotment for well 11 is, and I had it up and then I went away from it as I looked for something else. Bring it up again. Is authorized for 46 million gallons, which may seem like a lot, but it's really not that much when you produce for the city. And well number 9 is authorized for 81 million gallons and change. There's additional numbers beyond that, but so it's 81 versus 46 million gallons. And in talking with them, how can we increase the authority for well 11, or what would be one of the easiest ways to get that accomplished, was to flip-flop the two between well 11 and well 9. So when we talk with the Division of Water Resources, our total water rights would not change in any way, shape, or form. It just would change the point of diversion from one well to the other well, and the authorities would change because well 11 is able to produce.
559 gallons a minute last year was the average.
Say that again, Neil.
Last year's average was 559 gallons per minute on well 11, and well 9 was 361 gallons per minute average.
So it's about 200 gallons more per minute. So obviously,
We never hit that 81 million with well 9.
we don't use well 9 near as much. We obviously use it quite a bit, but
What do we get to? I'm just curious. For well 9 in a year, or if you have that.
I don't have my paperwork on what gallons per minute.
Sure.
Pumped last year on well 9, but on well 11, we actually shut it down first and middle part of August.
So
We run it about once a week for a couple hours, and that's about all we run, just to keep it where it isn't gonna get stagnant water sitting down in that well. We just pump it a little bit just to keep things going on it.
So if we bump it up to the 81 million, it can run for the next 4 months, and we're still probably not going to hit the 81 million,
We'll be close.
or we'll be at least
Yeah,
close.
we'll get a lot closer to that 81 million off of well 11 than we do well 9.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a smart thing to do.
and this really wouldn't be for this current year, it'd be for future years.
Yeah.
Right. Because it takes a while to get it accomplished, and all well owners within a half mile are notified of it. And there may be some response to it, but the total for the city, as far as what we're drawing, doesn't change. It just changes between the two different wells.
Cool.
So, that's what staff is looking at to submit an application for, in order for it. The other part of it is we actually would use less electricity because, like I said, well 11 pumps about 200 gallons more per minute than well number 9, so obviously you have to use it for a shorter time frame. So it would cut our power consumption a little bit. Wouldn't be a huge amount, but it'll be something. So,
I wouldn't have a problem in switching it either, so.
But, and again, if there's any, the well owners within, they'll be notified and they'll have a chance to respond to the Department of Agriculture as far as Division of Water Resources. There may be a little bit of pushback regarding it, but the two wells are close enough together that they probably both affect neighboring wells anyway, so I don't see it affecting that much different regarding the neighboring wells, so. Any additional comments, Neil, regarding that?
Been quite a job on that, trying to get things switched around where we can utilize more than what we have been.
So,
Because that would probably take stress off of some of the other wells too, a little bit.
Yeah, if we could run well 11 more, we would take some of the stress off some of the other ones that are 200-gallon-a-minute wells that run nonstop. We could hit those numbers a lot quicker and wouldn't have to shut it off. We started watching it in about May or June to where we're at, put it on, maybe back up for a while or shut it off for a week, take it back on, just to try and utilize it when it gets really hot. And this year has been the worst thing any other year I can remember being so hot and dry, and people are watering twice as much as what they used to just to keep what they have alive. I mean, there's been no relief this year. In past years, we've had at least some relief. This year, there's just been no relief, and we can see it.
so that's what we have, and don't have anything else at this point.
Move on to commissioners' reports. Commissioner Redland,
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Myers,
We have nothing to report.
and I don't have anything to report, so I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Redland. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Myers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.